Everyone. Still going at it with progress. So, in terms of progress on filter, I got some materials. Here, let me show you. All this junk, so methacrylate, hydrophobic stuff. Well, another one of these. Calcium chloride. And some brown seaweed powder. I need another one of these before I can start making it. So in a week and a half, I'll actually be releasing videos of the first two versions of this, and then the third version, which is going to be the hardest one, because I haven't been able to find any papers on the third version. So if I can pull this off, I have just completed my sole purpose for an entire year, which is to build a filter for water to remove heavy metal ions, so that in the future, probably when I'm dead, most likely, humanity is going to have a shot at being able to have clean water. Because to be honest, AI is not going to kill us. It's going to be natural resources that we already have. And for now, I strongly defend that. Although that could change, I loosely hold that opinion and that value, because from the time that I've been born, life changes quite quickly. So I could be totally wrong, but who knows? Maybe I might be right, because as long as humans are still biological creatures, we're gonna need water. The most broke guy to the most rich needs water. So, except the rich do it a little bit better than the poor dude. The poor dude buys plastic bottles, which lower testosterone levels, and that also decreases the ability to produce as man, and maybe infertility as well. While the rich man probably gets it from a glass bottle or something like San Pellegrino, something like that. So, or maybe a can of liquid death. I don't know. So I don't know exactly what they use, but I definitely think it doesn't have plastic in it, because they probably know that too. But yeah, for me, it's going to be a life-changing moment for me once I can pull this off, because a year-long mission, a year-long purpose, and being able to win a victory point for humanity is always fulfilled, because everyone should be ashamed to die until they have contributed some sort of victory for humanity. And the way I define victory, at least, that's quote by Horace Mann, by the way, not from me, but the way I define victory, at least, is showing the capability of what a human can do. Because I'm not going to use the humans are the only ones that can learn from mistakes of others, because AI is starting to be able to do that, although it needs humans to do it. But sooner or later, is going to be able to learn from its own mistakes, and then now all the philosophers would need to redefine what it means to truly be human. But hold up. I think, yeah, that's just the beauty of being human, is just to show the capability of human, whether it's creating something like this, whether it's winning a world title, whether it's the breaking through making new physics, chemistry discovery. That's showing the capabilities of a person. Now, I know that those are extremes, but extremes always prove the point. And I do understand that not everyone can show the capability of what it means to be human, but if you have the access to the resources, such as you don't have to worry about food, water, a house, you got some access to education, whether it be an institution, a school, or internet, you're set up for life. So there is no other excuse but to show and deliver a victory point for humanity. And I don't really care how you do it, as long as it's well, at least I do care, because I do have a moral code and ethics, because I don't think doing it via black market is the best way to go. I would consider that yeah, that doesn't fit in my moral code. So yes, I am biased. But if you can do it in either, for example, maybe winning an Olympic title in swimming, or whether you can make, whether you're the first millionaire in your family, or you win a Nobel Prize or something, some like those things. I know they're definite games. They're not like infinite games unless you play the game for fun and you win things along the way, even though you didn't really intend to do them. But just doing that is already, you've already won the most important things, at least materialistically. You know, I think there is some value to materialistic and finite games because life as a physical entity is finite, so might as well win the finite game, but also giving a victory point for humanity will indefinitely make you immortal. So you kind of indefinitely win the infinite game as well. I don't know if there was, but the reason why I decided to make this video isn't because I made it or some shit just yet. I do have the materials. I just need one more of the. I need one more of. I need one more of this little goober, and then I can start making this stuff. Miscalculated how much I needed, but I'm beginning to have the feeling that I have this feeling where the purpose is almost over, where I can kind of see the finish line, the horizon, but I'm not like running as fast, anymore. I just kind of felt as if as I like to view purpose as like a ray of light, where the ray's normally straight, but now it's kind of like diverging all over the place, and that's kind of where I feel that I'm thinking back to all those days that I suffered, all those days where I couldn't find an answer, all the rejections, and then also the breakup of Aquapella. I'll tell you a little bit more once it's complete, because I want to keep my intentions aligned, at least for this video. I don't want to go off and do tangents and shit, but yeah, just all of that, and then now I can see the final right there. I'm like, bro, I kind of just want to stop there, just take a look, just be like that. But I know that trying to feel like I'm in the present, but there's no value to being in the present, at least not right now, because job's not finished, you know? For for the entire year, most of the time, I felt like I've been living in the future. I have not been living in the present, and I chose to do that. So I don't want your counseling or your advice or you putting your therapy hat on for me. I chose to be in the future because I want to build for the future. I'm building a future that I want to see so that I can build my future. I build my future to build a future. And there's a post that I made in a Substack. It's called "Life Ain't to Be a Qubit," and then people are like aerogels. Those are two. There's a third one that's going to come out, which is called on my newsletter. So if you want, I'll put in the description. But it's called "You're Either Carbon or a Noble Gas," some shit like that, or carbon or helium. I forgot exactly how I titled it, but it's scheduled to be released soon. And there I just talk about how there are two ways to live life, where most people, at least the tendency for college students and high school students, is you don't know what you want. Cool. You're like carbon. You just bond to whatever the fuck you want. And then sometimes, like me, I'm like a helium atom. I don't react to much. I'm just a focused dude on a mission. And I don't want to react with a lot of things. In fact, helium doesn't really react with anything at all. But it's because of the sheer focus of helium, I can create something huge as the sun. We need focused people. That's how we make life dependent things like the sun. Everyone's dependent on the sun. But we also need carbon directionless people, or people who are just exploring as well. That's why we have people who pay over 75,000 a year to an institution to learn organic chemistry. I mean, that's how it is. So I think those are the only two respectable ways to live. You're either just in the present, you're just taking it all in, or you are a purposeful human being whose decisions have a tendency to spring results in the future. You won't see them today. You sacrifice today for tomorrow, and that's like a helium atom, or or if we're doing the qubit example, quantum bit, you're either in present is being in the zero state, future is being in the one state. Although that's more binary than quantum, but it worked. It worked at least for the intention of that newsletter post. So I'll put all the posts in the description, and then I'll do that. So makes sense for you guys. But I don't know, that's how I feel right now. I feel that if we're using let's just stick to quantum bit example. So I'm currently, I know I'm most of my decisions at the moment have been towards the one state, but I'm noticing that I'm starting to move into that quantum state where I'm not exactly a zero or a one. I'm just in the middle. And I notice that has happened every time I have focused sheerly on one thing. And right as I'm about to finish, I kind of start, drifting back to zero. And that happens every time when I complete something. I go from, I was solely focused to the future, and then now I'm in the present where I'm like, shit, it's over. It's over. And the celebration of that happens between as I transition from one to zero, as I am being dragged out of the future, all my decisions that I've sacrificed today for tomorrow. Now I'm actually there at tomorrow, and now I'm like, holy fuck, I'm here now. But that's the part where I noticed I have a tendency to fall off. Or not fall off. I guess the way I define fall off here is my momentum has slowed down. But and it kind of makes me feel a bit empty inside, where I had all this, big dick energy, and now it's just neutralized. And I don't know why. Normally or what I would aspire to have is just be a one, like in that one state until it's done, and then I can drift back. But it's more of as I get closer, or as I know I'm getting closer, it just kind of goes back to zero. I'm like, like a slow transition instead of a type of thing. So that's the whole reason why I'm making this. I just kind of wanted to get that out of my chest. And I know that some people kind of relate to that too, because when I was doing music, when I was doing music for violin in Yola Rola, I kind of noticed that as well, where I was solely focused on the music. It was the only thing I would think about. It's the only thing I would record videos on, or at least, well, not on YouTube directly, but it was just for presentations and whatnot. But I kind of drifted off slowly until the point where I realized, what, this isn't the thing that I want to do anymore. I want to find something else to do. So I know that it has already happened. So I have still yet to identify what that is, though. And for those who think that's bad, for me, nah, I would prefer to be like a laser, just stick in the one, the future state, and then immediately turn it off once I know I have made it. And yeah, that's basically how a tendency of mine. I'm not saying that I am like that. I just have a tendency to not stay completely focused as I get closer and closer and closer. I know it's kind of like a treat or like a sweet that that is kind of addictive, where you try and nibble pieces off, but you also know that you can't do that just yet. You have still yet to win that thing. And plus, as you take nibbles, you kind of already know how it tastes. So then when you actually can have the whole slice, it doesn't taste as well, or like as sweet as you wanted it to. I think that's kind of how. That's also kind of how I perceive sex and shit. The more times you kind of do it, whether it's meaningful or not, but the time you actually want kids, it don't hit as good. Maybe that's why in the Bible they say just try and stay virgin till marriage. That kind of makes sense. But then again, oh no, it's just contrarian views compared to the West here. I know this is off topic, but yeah, I don't know why, but I don't know what it is here in the West. And by West I mean, here in I'll just go here in LA to be specific. I don't know. We just don't live by the Bible anymore. We just go to church and say our prayers and then get booze and shit. I don't like that environment. Although I try and give my evening prayers and at least make it a tendency to focus on that. I know I would like to be around focused men too. Focused men that have, have, I guess, a bias towards religion. I do think that asking these questions is like spiritualism. The being spiritual is just you're just basically asking questions. But I do feel that religion kind of gives you all the answers that are true, except you probably might not want to accept that. Might be. Maybe it's because there are some things you don't want to give up that that X religion already has in store. Might be. Because maybe you have a tendency of being in the zero state, of being in the present, than perhaps in the one state where you're in the future, but you give up today for tomorrow. In the present, you kind of give up tomorrow for today. And that's why I say there is no other respectable way of living than just being strictly in the zero or the one. Because if you're in the middle, of course you're going to have arguments with yourself. You're going to tear yourself apart because you're like, I know I should be doing this, but I'm still doing this shit. You can't balance that stuff. Life is prioritization. It's not balance. Shit. Stop trying to balance shit. Just prioritize. You know what's most important, so pick that. And don't even think of doing anything else until that's done. And then you go down the next thing instead of trying to say, oh, I'm gonna do an hour this and an hour that. No, what the fuck? Go in order. Because order is progress, not balance. Okay. My notes. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to start with this in the beginning, but it's funny how no one's going to really believe me or no one's going to take me seriously until I build this thing out, this filter, because all of these are just lessons the lessons and the documentation of building something big, at least in my opinion, that's big. Because I know probably no one will use this until I'm dead or maybe when I'm very old and fucked up. But because I have put it out into the world, whenever it's needed, that the fact that we're going to need water, it'll be there. And then people will thank me. But even with these videos too, no one's going to believe me until I finish this shit. No one's going to believe me until I achieve some big result with this thing. And then they will say, oh my God, that was wisdom. He was throwing out bombs as a kid. But for now, probably most of you will be like, cool video, talking a bit of shit, but whatever. I mean, that's kind of how it is, especially at this young age. Not respect, or credibility or competence. I don't think respect is there because everyone starts off with a base level respect, but I think it's more of just proving tons and tons of competence, and then people will start to take it seriously. Because yeah, the result is the only thing that matters. So I know that even if I made this much progress right now and I say, oh yeah, I got the materials and shit, and if I stop, you guys still won't believe me because I haven't made the result yet. So I know the result only matters. But also to be first in this thing, you just gotta give and serve. So this is my way of giving, at least for right now, is documenting these videos and then on my Twitter, just throwing out as many knowledge bombs as I can, and then even including life's lessons, the daily wisdom and shit that you might find on YouTube. but bringing it back to what matters the most or what is already made, which is physics and chemistry and material science. That's my way of giving. But I know that no one's gonna, no, probably you who's watching, it's not gonna take this shit seriously because the result's the only thing that matters. And especially as the younger you are too, I've noticed is you need more respect, or you need to prove yourself. You need to do more competence to prove yourself. But if you can pull that off, then holy fuck, you just made it. So yeah, me trying to hustle to get all this stuff because I don't know, there was like 4 or 5 centers that rejected me, and then figuring this stuff out. That's type of hustling, and I know hustle is always respected. It's like a what are they? What is it called? I like to call it as the reserve currency of respect or trust. I don't know which word exactly fits better, but hustle is like that reserve currency. It has no barriers, has no language barrier, has no money barrier. Any type of hustle is going to be respected. But to create the result, that's when you receive the true coin of respect. So I know that that's also another thing that keeps me pushing is I have earned no one's respect yet, except my own, because I know I have done it once with music, so I know I can pull it off again in whatever realm I decide to enter. But until it has been made and until I get a good result out of it, I know that the world isn't going to just grant me respect points and a victory point for humanity. That has to be continuously built. So that's also another reason why I'm making this video is I know that I can feel the momentum slowing down, but there's always that part of me that says, hey, you haven't earned it yet. You can't slow down. You're still 18 years old. You don't deserve to slow down. So yeah. All right. I kind of already touched the point on where currently in this life, I'm also kind of diverging myself because I'm also trying to look for an intern or a job because I do think that that's one of the biggest lessons that a teenager can get at this age is just strictly committing himself to a job as well. Although, because I know that my current 100, I'm currently aligning 100% of my decisions, big or small, to this filter. I know that the second that is over, I will probably commit 100% of my life choices into job experience, whether it's in aerogels, material science, or whatever, pretty much. But there are lessons that are meant to be acquired from this thing, you know. But that's also, and this is also my bias. My bias is thrown onto you. But I feel like if you're going to live in the one state, in the future state where I am right now, you should try and align at least because I know that first if you're an adult it's a little bit more difficult, but if you're a kid like me, 18 or younger, bro, just go align 100% of every single choice, every single decision, every single framework, every single mentality towards the one sole thing you want to focus on. Ideally one thing, most likely you have two, and if you have two, prioritize. Big which one is more important to you. Probably is might be the one thing you might be looking at, but if you're gonna call it as passion, I guess. But I just don't believe in passion, that's all. mm, or if you think which one has more value to you in the future or maybe in the present, whatever it is. If you want to learn about, I don't know, prompt engineering, or yeah, let's say you have prompt engineering with AI versus, I don't know, boxing. Which one do you think you're gonna love more, or which one do you think has more value to you? If it's learning how to be smart, fine. If you value being stronger, then go right ahead. Go break someone's face. Which is also something I kind of want to do in later on in this decade, is just commit myself solely to the art of breaking someone's face. I don't know. That's just something every dude has to do in their lifetime, is just commit themselves to, even if it's for a year only. At least commit yourself to learn how to break someone's face. so that you can defend yourself, you can take care of your family, and at least have that skill whenever you need it. Because if you went to a public middle school like me, ooh, you needed that one. Thank you, Robert Frost, for teaching me. So focusing on just 100% of to one thing, that's what I would say is probably the most important thing. Just align 100% of anything you do. Just focus on it, because you can pay off an ignorance debt, from Alex Hormozy. You can pay off an ignorance debt so much more quickly. Ignorance debt kind of means that the things that you don't know about that thing. So, for example, with aerogels, for like the past 2 years, 9 months, it's kind of the main thing I've been focused on is the chemistry, the physics, maybe some math, but it's a lot more on chemistry. On how does this thing work? What are some problems that I think I could resolve from this? What are some problems that do matter that can, work with this? What are some problems I can get paid to do with this thing? Just understanding the game has allowed me to understand that, wow, I know jack shit. I don't know shit. And because I know so little, it helps me understand, okay, where should I put my effort into? Should I understand how the business works? Or should I understand how hydrocarbons work, for example? But it kind of all depends on what the problem is. So, for example, the problem is heavy metal ions. Well, the chemistry is going to be more about heavy metal ions. That's the tendency. And then also learning about maybe some other businesses or some startups that are already doing it for water. But if it's, for example, on what? Breaking down microplastics. You gotta learn about plastic. You gotta learn about polymers. You gotta learn about what is currently being used in the game, and then how maybe the raw cost of raw materials, and maybe forward vertical integration, if that's another thing. But just committing to that, you can pay it off so faster that you will reap higher rewards. There is actually a reward that's going on at the moment, but as I mentioned, first get the result, and then I can flip on the camera and tell you guys. But I think I might get my big prize. But I don't think I will get the prize without building the filter first. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And all these videos, all those tweets that I made, especially with the new account that I made, it's building a brand. It's building this self-image, even though it's meticulously crafted, because that's what social media is. Although, to be honest, you either view social media as a social consumption or a social network. That's the only two ways Twitter is. And yeah, the only two or three respectable ways to be on Twitter, in my opinion, is you can make money off of it. You connect yourself with some of the greats, aka you learn. Or three, you build a brand off of it. Any other way is just consumption, and you're just wasting your life. If you're creating while consuming, fine, because that's kind of what I do on the 20-30 minutes I'm on Twitter each day. Because I'm only surrounded by people who are trying to build their future. So I know that I may sound a little bit intense as I speak to you on camera, but I'm only surrounded with hungry wolves who are in the one state, in the future. Almost none of them are in the present. And I'm totally chill with that. That's what I'm willing to give up. Okay. And I'm writing. I think I'm writing writing is gonna definitely be the next catalyst. I know code is too. I think it's just gonna be code and writing. I think just get yourself good at one of them first, and then learn the other one. But I think who we think we are, especially the way I talk, who I think I am, someone who lives in the one state, someone who's committed 100% to whatever I do. It's basically what we see, what we believe in, what we think about. That's why every time I know I'm on YouTube, I know every single video that I click, every single tweet that I read, every single post that I get in my text. They kind of morph the way I think, and this is the only thing that I can control is my brain, my thoughts, and my beliefs. So that's why I don't really like to talk. I don't talk to everyone. I don't listen to everyone. I don't even want to hear from them sometimes. It's because I know that the more I allow you to get into me, I will become more like you. And if I don't want to become like you, well, shit. So that's kind of another thing that these beliefs, these ideas can control. They control you as much as what you have control over already. You know. So that's why I do believe that beware of great writing. Because that will seize your attention, and attention is money. Attention is creation of victory points. It's not time, because time doesn't give a shit about who you are. Your attention is. You're paying attention to this right now. So look who's talking. Yeah, and great writing does just like seizes your mind. It changes the world. Like for example, if you're someone who's very ambitious, who likes to create cool shit, let's just go with that. You're not really that powerful. The person who wrote to you, who told you that solving the world's hardest problems or making some money or beating someone's face up is important or is meaningful or has the highest ROI for humanity and progress and shit. They're more powerful than you. They're the most powerful person that you will ever know. Engineers aren't really that powerful. That coder isn't really powerful. It's the person who told them that coding is gonna be good for you. That's the powerful person. Because great writing will seize you by the mind. It will seize you by the beliefs, by your thoughts. And it created you. So to be honest, yeah, the world is built by the engineers, the thinkers, the creators, but I think the world is controlled or is run by those who can articulate in the spoken form and in the written form. Man, that was hard. But I that's the fucking reality. I don't care if you can code or engineer shit. If the one who can articulate is the one who told you to do that in the first place, you're kind of a slave. Maybe I'm enslaving you right now with these words. You never know. I think that's just the reality of things. So beware of great writing, beware of great speaking, and beware of someone who can articulate very well, because they seize your attention. And if it's not really what you want, and who knows, maybe innovating isn't really what you want, but there you are now. So have fun. All right, I want to pause here and then I'll make a part 2. But holy shit. I'm dropping bombs, bro. But as I mentioned, no one's gonna believe me until I get the result. But I'm telling you early, all right? All right. I catch you, bro.